There's one sign on this list that almost every man reads backwards. He sees it, he panics, and he walks away thinking she's losing interest when the truth is the exact opposite. That sign is coming at number 4, and once you understand it, you will never misread a woman's silence again. But before we get there, you need the full picture. Because these 6 signs do not work alone. They build on each other layer by layer until the pattern becomes impossible to miss. Welcome back to Psychology of Desire. If this is your first time here, subscribe now, because what you are about to learn is backed by real behavioral research, not guesswork, and it will change the way you read every woman in your life. Let's start with sign number 1, and it begins in the eyes. Behavioral researcher Monica Moore spent years studying courtship signals in public spaces, and she found something men almost never expect. Women do not maintain a long, sultry stare when they're interested. They do the opposite. They glance, hold it for less than a second, and look away fast. Moore documented this micro-glance as one of the most reliable predictors of romantic interest in her field observations. More reliable than smiling, more reliable than approaching. Here's why it matters. That fast look away is not shyness. It's her nervous system reacting faster than her composure can catch up. If you're talking to a woman and she keeps breaking eye contact just a beat too quickly, that is not disinterest. That is her body telling on her before her mind gives permission. Keep this in your head, because it connects directly to the sign we're building toward. Now here's a question worth sitting with for a second. Think about the last woman who made you feel like you had her full attention. Did she look away first, or did you? Hold that thought, because it's about to matter more than you think. Sign number 2 lives in the space between 2 bodies. Social psychologist Amy Cuddy's research on nonverbal presence showed that humans unconsciously orient their posture toward whatever or whoever they find safe and compelling. Cuddy's work on power posing and body language revealed that people angle their torso, their feet, and even their knees toward a source of interest long before they consciously register why. So, when a woman is in a group and her feet are pointed at you, when her shoulders drift your direction even while she's talking to someone else, that is not politeness. That is her body running a calculation her brain hasn't finished yet. Watch for it in group settings especially, because that's where it's hardest to fake and easiest to spot. Sign number 3 is touch, but not the touch you're expecting. Anthropologist and biological researcher Helen Fisher has spent decades studying the neurochemistry of attraction, and one of her most cited findings involves oxytocin, the bonding hormone released through physical contact. Fisher's research shows that women, more than men on average, use small, low-stakes touch as a way to test emotional safety before anything physical is intended. A hand brushing your arm while she laughs, fixing your collar, touching your wrist to make a point. These are not accidents, and they're not overtly sexual either. They are her nervous system checking whether closeness with you feels safe. If she initiates that contact and doesn't pull back when you don't overreact, she just passed you a test you didn't know you were taking. This is where sign number 4 comes in, the one I promised you at the start, the one almost every man misreads. Psychologist Arthur Aaron, famous for his research on closeness and the 36 questions study, found that vulnerability and unpredictability are core ingredients in how attraction deepens. A woman who is genuinely interested in you will sometimes pull back emotionally, go quiet, or seem distant for a stretch, and men interpret this as losing her. But Aaron's research suggests the opposite pattern is often true. That pullback is frequently a woman regulating her own emotional exposure because she's already invested more than she planned to. She's not fleeing the connection. She's managing how fast she's falling into it. The mistake most men make is chasing or panicking in that moment. The move that actually works is staying calm, staying consistent, and not disappearing just because she did for a day. Let's pause here with another question. Has a woman ever gone quiet on you right after a moment that felt closer than usual? If your answer is yes, you may have already lived through sign number 4 without realizing what it meant. Sign number 5 is jealousy, and this one is almost never loud. Evolutionary psychologist David Buss, who has researched mate selection and jealousy extensively, found that jealousy functions as a mate-guarding behavior, an instinctive response to a perceived threat to a bond a person values. In modern dating, this rarely looks like accusations or scenes. It looks like a slight pause when another woman's name comes up. A shift in tone. A joke that lands a little too pointed. Buss's research frames this as a signal of investment, not insecurity. People don't guard things they don't already consider partly theirs. If you notice that quiet flicker in a woman around you, that's not drama. That's her mentally filing you under mine before she said a word about it. Finally, sign number 6 is trust testing, and it's the most misunderstood sign of all. Relationship researcher John Gottman, known for decades of work studying what makes relationships last, found that people, women especially, in his findings on emotional attunement will sometimes create small conflicts or emotional tests specifically to observe how a partner responds under mild pressure. This isn't manipulation in the negative sense. It's data gathering. She wants to see if you stay steady when she's short with you, if you get defensive when she's distant, if you can hold your own emotional ground without needing her to fix your mood. Gottman's research consistently found that emotional stability under small stress is one of the strongest predictors of whether a woman feels safe going deeper with someone. Pass that test enough times, and she stops testing altogether because she already knows the answer. So here's the full loop, back to where we started. The fast glance from sign 1. The body orientation from sign 2. The testing touch from sign 3. All of it builds toward that moment of distance in sign 4, the moment most men get wrong. She isn't pulling away from you. She's deciding how much of herself she's willing to risk on you. And signs 5 and 6, the quiet jealousy and the subtle testing, are her confirming the answer before she ever says it out loud. If you recognized even 2 or 3 of these signs in someone right now, you're not imagining it and you're not overthinking it. You're reading real behavioral patterns that researchers have spent careers documenting. If this video helped you see someone more clearly, hit subscribe, drop a comment telling me which sign hit closest to home, and share this with a friend who needs to stop second-guessing himself. Next time, we're breaking down the 3 signs that mean she's already losing interest, and most men won't catch it until it's too late.